With a common denominator.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Let's talk about something important. Put that coffee down.
I'm not here to waste your time.
Where else you gonna have this much fun?
You the man. Todd Father.
Show me the money.
What I've been doing, had to triple my bag. Had to triple my bag. Wow. Had to triple my bag. Wow. Had to triple my bag. Yeah. Had to triple my bag.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, it's no trick to make a lot of money. All you want is to make a lot of money.
Hey, good afternoon. 10 minutes till the Fed. We're going to jump on here and be live for that. You know, I don't know what movie that is, I guess. That's an old one. I'm still fighting a little bit of a cold, and I fell off a ladder Sunday night at midnight. Only one here. So that was interesting. Luckily, I landed on the ladder from the ceiling, so kind of caught my fall, but I landed on my side, so not good. My side's pretty sore. So Ethereum up $85, new high for the move. We do like that. Let's look at that Ethereum chart. After getting long down there at 27.30, the day of the low. So pretty happy I called the day of the low in Ethereum and Bitcoin. And really, when I gave the buy in Ethereum, I told everybody to buy your favorite altcoin, shitcoin. So managed to, so far I'd say most coins give you the low. So here we are, recovery high going into the Fed. I would expect rates are going to get cut. Obviously, that's like 90%. I don't think it really matters. I think stocks, though, and crypto will continue higher, but I think, you know, we got problems brewing with the government debt. Inflation could rear up. So I think we have problems coming, but I don't think they're going to affect us yet. So I still expect crypto to work higher. You can see Ethereum down there, lower right, 48.53 on the tech. Then let's look at Bitcoin is not as strong, so you're going to see it setting right here at 47 currently. So I might take profits if we get 50 readings on those things and look for some type of ABC pullback. These could be leading diagonals that have ended off the low. We, bring in a little bit more selling for 3 or 4 or 5 days. So don't really want that here, but that could happen and still be bullish. So gonna watch that. And there's Carrie. What's going on? Miss Butterfield. If we look at some of the stock indices, we got the Dow here up 165. You can see technometer here down at 42.6. The DJI, you can see here oversold tech readings, called all the lows on the way up. A little early there on November 17th because I turned bullish. I was live on Thursday, November 20th, Carrie's birthday, and I said if we turn around from these lows Friday and start rallying, probably that means we're going to new highs. I still think that's what's happening. The chart I showed was this here on the QQQ with some Elliott wave put on it. Before I gave you the reason saying that the previous high was it, and that still could be it. I mean, this could be a leading diagonal down and ABC back up and we're ready to turn down sharply. But I gave the reasoning where I think really the count is this, where November 20th, 21st, was the green wave 4 ending, and we're going to go to new highs. We almost basically touched new highs, but I think it's more than just new highs. I think we probably extend out here, another few months. That was a pretty big divergence there with volume hitting new lows, price moving sideways. So again, I think there's more upside in stocks. I think there's more upside in crypto. And then I think we're probably in trouble. So a little over 5 minutes to go. I'll turn CNBC on here when they start announcing it. Again, I don't think there's going to be much going on. I probably would appreciate a little bit of a sell-off in stocks. I think stocks could have, maybe we've had 5 waves up into that high 3 days ago. Those highs were DeMark highs. They are all perfect 9 setups on December 5th. And, it'd be better if we have had like an A down, do a B up here, and then come down one more time, maybe below that 47,275 area on the Dow. That would give us a larger 1-2 completed. And then we're ready for stocks to have a wave 3 up of 5 and crypto heading up with it. That'd be ideal, and that'd give us a chance to do a little bit more buying down here, buy a few more stocks, etc. Here's ADA. We've been talking about this in the Discord, patreon.com/learncrypto. And once again, November 20th is here. ADA did go down to spike a new low. So if you bought off my buy signal, you'd probably been filled around 0.405. So we're up, about 12% or something. I think Bitcoin's up about 13-14%. Ethereum's up about 24% probably from my buys. But again, there's pretty good divergences on a lot of these things. So I think some of these coins are still going to continue higher. You're going to see some alarms going off if we start getting any action here. I've got a lot of alarms on a lot of stocks and crypto to keep me aware of what's going on. So sorry about that, but not much else. A lot of my oil stocks pulling back a little bit. Neighbor's still up there at 56.52, but it got above 58. Merck has backed off a little bit. We're waiting for the Fed, 4 minutes to go. Garden Health is one that I've talked about on here many times. Gave a buy down there on that at 55. But we got another high level bullish divergence. So I'm probably not going to buy that, but I might here in the next day or two. But that looks like still higher then. So maybe see if we can get a 120, 130 out of that. I would say some of the coins are going to go higher, but I'm not a big believer that we're going to have a huge alt season, because I think the people, the participants don't have the money like they used to, because they've been hurt on so many alts. So I think we get a good rally in Ethereum and, the bigger names, some select alts. Otherwise, the other ones probably need to be sold on any rally. I think when I get Ethereum sells, you probably ought to lighten up on some of your alts that have been dogs, so they don't dwindle to zero. That's my personal opinion. 2 minutes to go. Cypherpunk. Not much to add after it came out of that accumulation phase. Had the jump and the backup and then screamed to the upside. Chart not helping me much. Zcash. And then we're going to go to CNBC here. Zcash live on here on December 1st. I believe we were live when our technometer got below 38. Down there at 333 on Zcash. We're trading 433. So quick 100 higher. Had a little bit of a divergence at the bottom as well. So that one, I think, still continues higher. Bitcoin down 300, Ethereum up 64. A minute to go.
Inflation is rising. The economy is
I'm gonna
fragmented
turn
into that
CNBC
K-shape
on.
we all know about now. And let's not forget, we have a once in 100-year trade shock. How is the Fed going to explain all of this to us? And how are they going to set us up for 2026 in an economy that is decreasingly interest rate sensitive and yet still has its firm eyes on what Powell or Powell's predecessor does next?
Would you consider David Kelly today to be what they would say is a hawkish cut, but with cautious language?
It's kind of like when
I would say
parents
a
give
cut,
a kid,
cautious
okay, you could have one more cookie, but this is the
language as
last
well.
cookie.
It never worked until the next.
No, well, exactly. But I think,
Not sure what
it's
that
gonna
means
be,
for markets,
It's going to be a cut. We could get multiple descents
I'd be a
here.
buyer
And I think
of,
they're going to really
There's
push it out
BMNR at
and say, don't wait for
39.75.
it.
That's
Don't
had a
expect
nice
another near-term
rally off the
Jim,
November
I don't want
20th
to look
low.
too far ahead of today because it does matter.
We'll go over some of the
90% chance of a
crypto
Fed
stocks
rate
here
cut today. Looking at the CME Fed Watch
after
tool,
the
you got
Fed.
about a 25% chance in the market of a rate cut at the January 28 meeting, first one of next year. Where do you land on the next possible cut?
So on the next possible cut, it's going to be all dependent on what happens in the labor market. The labor market is really the key messaging for the Fed. The Fed has to be careful, though, right? It doesn't want to walk into a policy mistake
All right,
by
it's 1
being either
o'clock.
too hawkish or too dovish.
Bitcoin
The
up
path of
200.
least resistance right now is towards higher bond yields, which is
Ethereum
not necessarily
34.08,
effective
that's going on the
or a good
highs.
thing for markets.
34.15,
So if the labor data
34.18.
continues to weaken, if it softens further, then I think January is very much on the table.
34.27.
If it doesn't, then we're going to kick the can down the road.
Ethereum up 109.
Yeah, we're going to find out here in about 15 seconds. Like we said, it is a mixed trade. You got the NASDAQ slightly down, the Dow slightly higher, the 10-year yield.
Bitcoin up
right around
500.
4.16%. Let's go down to Steve Leisman on the Fed's decision on interest rates. Steve.
Dow up 300. NASDAQ
The
unchanged.
Federal Reserve reducing interest rates by an expected quarter point to a new range of 3.5 to 3.75. There were 3 dissents. The first time that's happened in September 2019. 2 were against the cut, including Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee, along
Bitcoin
with
unchanged.
Kansas City Fed President Jeff Smith, his second dissent
Fed
in a
lowers
row.
rates.
Also another dissent for
3
a 50
dissents.
basis point cut from new Fed governor on loan from the administration, Stephen Myron. To recap, the vote was 9 for cutting a quarter, 2 against cutting, 1 for cutting 50 basis points. The Fed signaled a higher bar for the next cut, using language
gonna
that
matter
was
what
used in
they
the
say
past to
after
do
the
so,
cuts.
saying that it will assess incoming data to determine the extent and timing of future rate moves. That language was used last December to signal
not
a
much.
pause. The rate outlook suggests consensus for just 1 more cut next year and 1 more in 2027. But as I'll get to when I talk about the dot plot, a lot of disagreement. Before the dot plot, though, I want to talk about some pretty big news when it comes to the balance sheet. The committee making a determination is now what it calls as an ample level of reserves. So it plans to initiate purchases of shorter-term treasuries on an ongoing basis. And then a separate document was specific,
Bitcoin down 100.
saying the Fed will begin buying $40 billion in bills starting December 12th.
Ethereum about
That's just a
50
couple
off
of days
the
from now.
high.
And I believe that's sooner
Dow
than the
still up
market
250.
expected. And those purchases will go on for a
NASDAQ
little
was
while
down
at
100, then
elevated
back
level
unchanged,
because
now
of
down
seasonal
40.
demands for reserves that are out there before coming down again in April. That's what the document says. Outlook on the economy
much
in the
going
statement. GDP outlook was stronger next year in the Fed's
Live
own
Oak Bank
forecast,
shares
up
alarm
0.5
went off.
point,
That's
2.4%. So pretty big move
smaller
there in the
bank
outlook
that
for
I think
GDP
is
next
good
year.
long-term
The
holding.
inflation outlook lower for next year by just a tick, down to 2.5%, just about hitting the target of 2.1
I did buy a little
in
bit of that down there at
2027.
30
The statement says the economy
for a
is
few
expanding at a
clients
moderate pace.
because of
Job gains have slowed and unemployment has
new
edged
lows
up.
and the
Just a
volume
note,
price holding
the
higher.
statement
That
no
looks like
longer says
accumulation.
that the unemployment rate is low at the
think
current
LOB
rate.
continues
Inflation
higher.
is seen as somewhat elevated.
Bitcoin down
Economic
1,000.
Uncertainty also elevated. Back to the Fed outlook and the dot plot
Ethereum
real
up
quickly here.
38.
Only 2 dissents, but 6 officials in total wanted no change in the funds rate according to the dot
Dow
plot.
goes
so
to,
kind of a
up
soft
209
dissent in that
still.
regard, you can call it. 7
Bitcoin
want no
took a
change
little bit
at
of
all for
selling
next
there.
year. 11 only want 1 cut next year.
Now down 500.
1 person, and we can imagine who that is, Stephen Myron. Just guessing here.
I don't think any
Wants
more
rates
things
down
from the
to
Fed. Once
2.1.
Powell starts talking, it'll give us some more volatility. Pretty much a non-event. So let's go over a few of the crypto stocks. Let's look at Coinbase. Again, down there. Well, we have it on the 20th. It's saying down there at 239. We're setting it 272. The chart doesn't look too bad if you look at it. I got a lot going on that chart based on some momentum scans and also Nick and I's trades inside the Discord. But I think that one still works higher. MicroStrategy, a lot of bearish talk. That thing's been wiped out. I never was a real fan of MicroStrategy. I had talked about selling that up there at 300 and 350. I think it was 348, 349 in the Discord. Momentum scan got out at 296. So again, that one not acting well, but I think it's probably cheap here and continue higher. SBET. Not much to add there. I mentioned there at 1475, I think it was, that I was looking for lower. If you got out of that till November 20th, it's down around 984, currently 1195. I think the low is in. BMNR, same type of thing. You could have got that down there at 2576 or so. Up here at 40, that's a pretty big move on Bitmine. So I would stay long these until I give a sell on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then I would probably take profits, look for some type of pullback to reestablish.
No surprise there. It's down about 1/3 cent. It was down about 1/4 cent before the statement was read. It's definitely toying with this 98 3/4 to 99 level. It seems to have lost its hunt for 100 recently, but that makes sense considering the Fed's easing. And finally, the next meeting, January. Many are talking about the January 28th meeting. For a while today, we had about a 30% probability of a 1/4 point ease. That's now moved to around 24%. It's been bouncing around a bit. If you look at the March 18th meeting, that's also hovering around a 25% probability of
Bitcoin
a 1/4
only
point
down
cut.
200.
But basically, the
Ethereum
real
up
issue
70.
for 2026 is
Pretty
how
good
much the
action.
market's going to pull out on the easing
Now back up
mentality.
320.
As we continue to get data
NASDAQ
that certainly
back
doesn't look like
unchanged.
the labor market is dying a quick death, and with in terms of inflation, not a lot's changed in the last 16 months. It's sticky, and it doesn't seem to be coming down closer to the Fed's target.
Rick, appreciate it, and we'll circle back in a moment. But let's get more from Mike Santoli. Mike, on what jumped out to you about the market's reaction here and what the Fed just told us.
Yeah, got a signed picture of him on the wall here.
Say it's a real vociferous.
All right, that's all. Not much else to go over. You know some of the stocks I'm long or been long or looking at. So, not much to talk about. No one's talking on the chat, so hold on there. Some alarms are definitely going off. Now we got ASTS, Space Mobile going higher. Let me update these while I'm here. So again, we're long looking for higher. Would add on a little bit of a break over the next few days if we get it. If not, we're going to be selling some type of rally. Let's go back and look at our Wyckoff Wave Crypto Index. I talked about this coming into that low, that we was waiting for the technometer to get below 40. That happened on November 21st, the day of the low. That's what really helped get me bullish. And then when we had that pullback to 84,000 on Bitcoin, We had the bullish divergence with volume hitting new lows while price didn't. And that gave me confidence that that was probably a 1-2 or an AB. I talked about that live as well. So not sure the count. I mean, this could be A, B, C, D, E overlapping, and we come down here to a lower again. But the 40 reading on the Wyckoff Wave Crypto Index, I talked about that, picks a lot of lows. So pick that low perfectly. Now the technometer is 45.34 there. And again on Bitcoin, 47.1. So as I mentioned before, this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm not sure that would be explosive to the upside, or it's A, B, C, D, E for a 1, pull back for a week or so, and then work higher to 105. I'm not sure going to be the exact counts, but I'm going to stick with the Wyckoff indicators and figure it out from there. There, I just turned it down for you. There's Winnebago giving me nice. Winnebago, I am long that one. That one is, I got a mark. It has earnings, I think, on December 18th, but that one's working higher here. So I appreciate that. SOYB is soybeans. That alarm's going off. I think a low probably was just made on soybeans, possibly. We'll see what Powell says here in his briefing, but otherwise, Bitcoin now up 200. Those are just mostly like alarms on previous lows or highs, or stocks I've been watching, interested in, coming down to levels I want to buy or buy breakouts, etc. So I've just got, I got them all over. I got them on a lot of momentum stocks from my momentum scan. And pro traders, go to wyckoffsmi.com, pro traders, $40 a month. If you're in the crypto Discord, you can get the stock Discord for only $20 a month. That's a steal. Crypto Discord is at patreon.com/learncrypto. Bitcoin up 100, Ethereum up 70. TRAC, I've talked about that. It had a nice solid rally. I've given a lot of it back, setting here at 0.51. Nothing to brag about. Not much else to add. TLT, I've talked about that topping out. And that is happening. I'm guessing that's a 1-2 off the highs, and we're headed much, much lower. That means higher incoming 20-year rates. I guess that's higher inflation, budget deficit issues, etc. GDX has rallied back to the highs. If you've been on here, you know I'd covered my shorts. Thought we'd have a B-wave rally. I think probably we've done that or going to do that. So I still lean that precious metals can work lower short term, still higher longer term. The dollar, I think, is making a low. There's the DXY. I'll be watching that, but the dollar rallying strongly could cause some troubles for crypto. XLE had a split. I still think it did get there last week. Started to break out, has pulled back again. So still on XLE and oil stocks, looking for hopefully higher. Let me run my quick disclaimer since I do manage assets. Hold on.
There's a high degree of risk involved in trading stocks and cryptocurrencies. Our thoughts and ideas are for entertainment purposes only. Please consult your personal advisor or do your own research. Past results are not indicative of future returns.
What up, Bud Time? So we manage stock assets mostly at Charles Schwab or Interactive Brokers. Crypto assets with trading APIs, still doing what we've been always doing. If there's no more viewer requests, I'm going to go and get ready for the close in the next hour and 45. Like I said, not much more to add. I mean, I could go over some individual stocks. Let's go over this list real quick. ACNT, that's one I've talked about for quite a while. That one had a nice Wyckoff accumulation, you can see. Classic had bullish divergences at the lows. Agco is one that I think will dig out of here and work higher. Same type of thing. New low in volume, price much higher, doing a jump and a backup. So I think Agco goes higher. Arthur J. Gallagher, I just answered a question on that in the stock Discord. That one's been beat up. I think it heads higher. Amgen still long that one. It's had a pullback, but I think that one, that's probably a jump and a backup. That one's headed higher. BHE, that one had the divergence in the oversold technometer on a backup. I look for that one to go much higher. Boot Barn Holdings, I mentioned that longer term. It touched a new high or right at it this morning. Now it's down a couple dollars. I think that one goes higher. I mentioned Guidant Health. Looks like that one's high-level consolidation before higher. LNT has been beat up here a little bit short term. I think probably that's a jump and a backup. I'm still along that. Merck's backed up some. I'm still along that. Neighbors, I talked about down at the lows. That one's performing well. NTRA, straight up, had that bullish divergence set up. Rambus slapped us, and then I did say long that. It's came back. About that around 101. I held that through some weakness because I had profits in many other things. CORZ did show up on the momentum scan buy today. That's what the purple arrow is. And that is all I got, so. Gonna run the Patreon commercial, patreon.com/learncrypto. Not much on the YouTube chat. I know we get a lot of followers over on Twitter, Facebook, watching live. Appreciate the support. Nick and I will probably be here tomorrow, especially if we get any more action. Otherwise, if you want anything live, pro traders at Wyckoff SMI for stocks, or the crypto Discord at patreon.com/learncrypto. So that's all. I'm going to run a commercial. I'm out of here. Have a great day.
Warren Buffett, American investor, business tycoon, and one of the wealthiest people in the world, once said, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." But how is that possible? Well, knowledge is power. In 2020, it is no longer news that cryptocurrencies are the currency of the digital future. Bitcoin's stability amidst unprecedented global economic impacts from COVID-19 has proven once again that crypto is here to stay. Learning how to trade, when to trade, and where to trade crypto assets can make the difference between success and failure. At LearnCrypto.io, we offer a pathway to sustainable and lifelong wealth by helping open-minded beginners and experienced traders navigate the thin ice of the cryptocurrency markets. Live shows, interviews, coin reviews, fundamental analysis, predictive trading bots, and open chat access to a community of real traders. These are just a few of the benefits you'll receive with a membership on patreon.com/learncrypto. Sign up today if you strive to build yourself a brighter tomorrow.